Hey, what's up, everybody? Pat here, great for recovering alcoholic and addict, just like every day. Guys, please don't forget to subscribe, leave the video a like, drop me a comment, and by all means, share it with anybody who might get something out of it. Other than that, we're going to get into the reading for today, guys, and I actually really like this one. It's a good reading. God's Will Today. This decision demands continued acceptance, ever increasing faith, and a daily commitment to recovery. Sometimes we really feel God's will, and it's great. We don't regret the past, we're not afraid of the future, and we're generally pleased with the present. Other times, though, we lose our vision of God's will in our lives. Many of us dream of erasing the mistakes of our past, but the past cannot be erased. Many of us are grateful for this. This is so, for our past experience have brought us to the recovery we enjoy today. By working the program, we can learn to accept the past and reconcile ourselves with it by amending our wrongs. This same program can eliminate our worries about the future. When we practice spiritual principles on a daily basis in all our affairs, we can leave the results up to our higher power. It seems as though our members with the strongest faith are the ones who are best able to live in the present moment. Enjoyment, appreciation, and gratitude for the quality of our lives, these are the results of faith in life itself. When we practice the principles of our program, today is the only day we need. And then the affirmation is just for today. I will make the most of today and trust that yesterday and tomorrow are in God's care. And that's something that's amazing, guys. They talk about having hope, right? I mean, it's literally, that's got to be the definition of hope. And I'm one of those people, guys. As bad as my life was, and for as long as it was, I mean, look at the totality, guys. In and out of prison for decades, homeless for 4 years, died multiple times of overdose. And those are just like the highlight reels. When I start going through and talking in some of the tragedies that I've endured, the traumas that I've endured, the things that I've seen, out doing what I was doing for as long as I have, you would think I'd be, just wallowing in regret and remorse and playing victim for the rest of my life. Not the case, guys. I don't regret anything. Literally, the moment I decided to take all of that, turn my will over to my higher power, whom I choose to call God, and then use that as the place that I'm, basing my recovery from, and then using my experience to help others to understand that if I can live a life and not let anything hold me back, that I can turn around and I can encourage so many others that they too can. And guys, literally, very few people survive as long as I did, and go through as much as I've been through. Not to say that mine's worse than others. I'm just saying the length of my run. Most people either die or smarten up before they act stupid for as long as I did. But again, the moment I decided to turn it over to God and to follow God, start asking for God's, for knowledge of God's will and the power to carry it out, just started living a recovery-based spiritual life. I have no regrets. I understand that everything has a plan, and that for me to be in a position to help others, I had to endure what I had to endure. Now, granted, I could have thrown in the towel at any given point, but again, so what? Nothing's holding me back, and if anything, I'm that much more appreciative of the life that I'm leading today because I know what suffering feels like. I know what misery feels like. I know what the depths of despair really are. I've been, I've been to a place of no hope and stayed there for a long, long time, and that's okay. That is just, a tool that I have in my toolbox today to, try to help others know that they too can get to anywhere you want, guys. Literally, it is a decision that you make for yourself. It's not, and this is very important, guys. We all, particularly addicts and alcoholics, we love to live in victim mentality. And I'm sorry, guys. I know it sounds like I'm calling you out. I'm not. I'm admitting my guilt in that. But guys, if we can't get honest with these things, we have a tendency to repeat them. I know I certainly did, over and over and over, always somehow thinking that I could just be the same person doing the same things, and somehow if I just didn't get caught, or I didn't, if that drug dealer would have given me that one cuff, or whatever, just insert nonsense here, that things would be okay. And they were never going to be okay because I wasn't doing okay. I wasn't acting okay. I wasn't feeling okay. I was being a moron. sorry, it's the truth. But again, once you make a decision to use that as the place that you leap forward from, once you decide to start administering these spiritual principles in your life, and you don't have to follow my program, guys, by all means. These are generalities and these are suggestions, and you have to tailor them and fit them to your specific scenario. So it's your program. You got to find your program. This is your life. This is your future that's at stake here, and it should be something you're willing. And I get it, guys. Believe me, I've been on both sides of it. I know how hard it is to adopt a state of gratitude when you're in despair. So that's why we give you steps. That's why everything is broken down into steps, because you can't just flip a switch when you're in the the depths of despair, when you're in the lowest of the low, when you're struggling with an addiction and you still got a physical 800-pound gorilla on your back. You can't just walk into the light and be all hunky dory. You've got to stop the momentum. You got to get yourself into whatever. If you, most of us, and again, I hate to say anything's a hard rule, because there's always going to be that one exception to say, oh, I didn't have to do this. But for the vast majority of us, we need help. We need rehab. We need IOP. We need whatever it is, halfway house, sober living, something. Find what it is that you need. Get the help that you need. Therapist, medically assisted treatment, psychologist, inpatient, outpatient, whatever it takes, guys. There's no shame in any of it. That's something I had to learn. Get the help you need. I honestly always felt that if I took, if I went in and said I couldn't do this on my own, I was showing weakness and I'm too strong for that. Oh, the strongest move I ever made was asking for help, admitting that I was powerless over the disease of addiction. It is a disease, guys. There's no shame. We are not responsible for having addiction. We are responsible for our actions that we take, particularly after we have the knowledge that there's recovery out here, right? Guys, I love my life today. And again, there's always struggles. I know I have a tendency to say it a lot because it's nice to actually just have the weight of addiction off my shoulders. Many people were accusing me of being on a pink cloud, and now I've come to see that I was choosing to be happy in addiction, guys, because happiness is also a choice. And I think that's probably why I survived everything I did, because I always chose to lean towards the positive, and I would always, always had that spark of life. No matter how beaten down I was, I just could not give up. Even when I felt completely hopeless and I had no hope in myself, and there was I had no power left in myself. There was always my higher power carrying me, and that's the things you start to see when you start to adopt a relationship, a conscious contact relationship with your higher power, guys. When you ask God for His will in your life, and then you take action on that knowledge, on those ideas, and that's literally what it comes down to, guys. You're not gonna. I promise you, Moses is not going to show up at your door with your personal 10 commandments, right? But when you pray and you meditate, you'll get the ideas. You'll start to see the error of your former ways, and as you start making better decisions, you'll start feeling better about yourself. Literally common sense, right? Guys, you can take anything in your life that was an absolute negative, and once you stop being the victim of it. And again, I don't like using the terminology because I'm not trying to belittle anybody's situation. I know there are, many others, myself included, that have been through some absolute hell. Some, most of it self-inflicted. And then, unfortunately, guys, when we're out there running amok, you get into that contingency of where bad people around are going to take advantage because we make ourselves available to be taken advantage of. And again, it's not your fault, and I'm not blaming anybody for it, so please. But you can't let that continue to own you. At some point, you've got to learn to stand on your own 2 feet with God's help, with my help, with the help of the NA or AA program or Smart Recovery, or whatever medical, inpatient, outpatient, whatever program that you require, right? Adopt it and then work it to the best of your knowledge. It's all temporary. In the beginning of this stuff, when we need all that external help, and we're always going to need the internal help. That's one thing, guys. You've got to find your faith. You've got to decide what your course of faith looks like, what your book of faith is going to read, right? How it's going to play out. what you're comfortable with, what you truly believe, but become a part of something. Become aligned with the best version of your faith and become that best version of yourself, because once you invite a higher power into your life, and I choose to call mine God. I hope to God, I hope nobody, I hope to God, I hope that doesn't box anybody out, but that's my comfort level, and I love my God. My God has given me everything and continues to give me more and more. It gives me the courage to come on here and make these videos. It gives me the courage to get up every day and fight and put a life together. And guys, in 9 short months, I've gone, from somebody that was just swept under the rug and overlooked and just, written off, to people that are now backing and calling me and want to collaborate with me and want to work with me and they want to see my company succeed. And like, it's amazing. The only difference I've made was I invited God into my life. I literally said in a prayer, God, I'm inviting you into my mind, my body, my soul, and my heart. Please show me the way. Please show me the path that you would have me walk. Please allow me to let you walk in your light. And I just, give that as an example, because if anybody doesn't know how to go about it, that's what worked for me. Find your way. It doesn't have to, again, I'll always say, I'm not an expert, guys. I'm just another recovering addict out here trying to spread the word, right? Just trying to help another addict, because that is my mission. I promised myself that for me, let me give you a little background with that. When I was in rehab this time around, I'm like, when I'm in these rooms of recovery, when I'm in a structured environment, and I'm focusing on recovery, like I realize the depth of my problems and the fact that I need help and I need to be sober and I need to have complete sobriety and I need to be working. I need to be aligned with my God, and then I would get out of that and I'd get a little bit of strength back, go to the gym, start working out, go to a couple of meetings, get a good job because I'm skilled and I'm employable when I'm sober. And then I would let work overwhelm me because I wasn't changing the fact that I had all these traumas and all these insecurities within myself that I was not addressing, because I thought that's it. It's all I need to do. I can go out. But the problem is I'm bringing the same broken person back to these same exact situations that got me in trouble last time, and I don't know any other steps. So I'm doing the same thing, and boom, before long, I'm using drugs again, and then it's snowballing because I'm hiding it because I have all that guilt and shame. Because as soon as I started getting high again, I'm like, oh my God, what did I do? But now I'm physically addicted again. I got to get up and produce because now I produced all that yesterday, and just, guys, you guys know how that goes. And it's terrible. So when I realized that I couldn't do that this time around, I said, well, I gotta change the person that I am so that when I'm alone with myself, I'm not with that person. And that's what I've done. And again, I didn't know how to do it. So invite somebody into my life that does. God, my higher power. Just started praying earnestly and honestly. And then I would wake up or I would meditate after my prayers, and I'd be like, okay, that would make me want to engage, because I'm like, I'm not going to sit here and get on my knees and start crying in a prayer because I'm that low and I'm that broken, I'm that hungry for something different, and then not try. But it literally was a matter of getting honest with myself, taking accountability for my actions. As hard as that was, guys, it's not always comfortable in the beginning. You're gonna deal with a lot of really bad feelings, and you're gonna feel low about yourself. But you gotta understand that's just something you're working through. All you want to do, and here's the other thing, guys, you've got to learn to detach. You gotta have a certain level of detachment. You can't dwell in the mistakes of your past, no matter how bad they are. Guys, I've done everything. I've stolen from family. I've used my brother's IDs, and I've done every shitty thing there is. As much as I like to, I wasn't somebody who was out there, breaking and entering into people's houses for a living, right? But I've done every shitty thing, guys, because I was doing shitty things in different situations present themselves. I don't dwell on any of that, and I've made amends, and I've been forgiven by everybody I love, and everybody, anybody I've approached or had the opportunity to ask for forgiveness from. Most of the times, don't even have to ask, but just want to see you do better. The biggest gift and the biggest act of making amends is just living a better life. Your friends and your family, anybody, even your children, anybody you've let down, all they want from you is they want the real you back. They want that sober you, that loving version of you back in their life. No matter what's happened, as soon as you at least show up in that person for an extended period of time, they're gonna forgive. They're gonna trust. And yeah, you might have You might have specific amends you're going to have to make, and again, you do that when you feel comfortable, right? But you don't worry about that. That's why we call these, I said it earlier, that's why there are steps to recovery. And I'm not just talking about the 12 steps in the books and all that. I'm talking you take things one step at a time. You do so in faith. You ask for God's will in your life, because, guys, when we take our own will, we know where that's gotten us. And it's not a matter of just putting down the drugs. That's the thing, guys. For once in my life, I understood that I had to figure out the underlying conditions that brought me to addiction over and over again, and then work on those things. I thought, and for the totality of it, I was so lost. I literally thought I'd end up in an inpatient facility for a year, and how am I going to go to work because I'm going to have all these doctor's appointments? And yeah, I've had quite a few, all voluntary, and I've made every single one of them. And I've also built a business alongside of it, on top of running a YouTube channel and posting on TikTok and, going on speaking commitments and chairing my meeting. And I still have time to run what is turning very quickly into a very successful building. So no, recovery doesn't have to take up all of your time, but it has to be a priority. It has to be the top priority. I've said this 1,000 times in these videos, and I'm going to say it 1,000 more, if not 1,000,000. The two most important relationships you will ever have is that with yourself and that with the higher power. Build a conscious contact relationship with your higher power. Build a positive, loving relationship with yourself. So forgive yourself for the mistakes you've made, but you can't do that if you continue to make them, right? Find another way. If it literally is as bad as I was out there, guys, have the balls to actually say to yourself, I have to stop reacting, and I have to go with my opposite instinct every time and see where that gets me. Or just take the time to honestly play the tape through. I know these are cliches, but guys, they work. That's one of the things I did before I would make a decision, because that's the thing, guys, I convinced myself that all of my decisions got me to where I was, and it's God's honest truth. It's a harsh reality. But in order to stop repeating those, I literally, before I would make any decision, I would literally tell everybody, nope, I can't give you an answer. Like, I don't care if you're asking me what sandwich I wanted. Can't give you an answer yet. Got to stop and think about it first. And I did. And I would just go, okay, well, hold on. Last time I was presented with a situation like this, what did I choose? What happened? Where did it lead? How did I feel about it? Did it bring me up? Did it bring me down? Did it make me want to use? Was this good for me in the long run? Because a lot of them looked like the right answer on paper. Sure, take the high stress, high paying job because I got to build. I've been on the street for 4 years. I've got nothing, this, that, the other. No, take the slow road. And that's what I've done this time. This time I said, nope, I'm not going to run out and work. As a matter of fact, I'm going to tell my work I can't work. I'm going to, find more doctor's appointments, go to more meetings. I'm going to fill my life with recovery and then see what opportunities come from that. And again, look how well it's worked. Guys, it's getting up over 18 minutes. We're going to call that the video for today. Invite God's will, whatever your God is. Insert your name of your higher power here. Don't let me box you out by using God, whether it's Buddha, Allah, Spirit, Jehovah, Yahweh. It doesn't. And I don't see, it's yours, it's right. But build a conscious contact with your higher power. Invite him into your heart, into your life. Make good decisions. Find actions that can allow you to like and respect and love the person that you are. And just invite beauty into your life. Stay sober and start building a life. Take it a step farther. Stand out in every situation and watch what rewards and opportunities will be presented to you. Guys, thank you so much for being here. It means the absolute world to me. Always remember, God loves you. I love you. We'll see you in the next one.